Welcome back to One Account Analysis. The NBA playoffs present a significant challenge as they comprise distractions from the NBA regular season at an intense level, and the elements of the playoffs avail multiple distinct ways a team, player, or a coach can lose focus. Players either endeavor to deal with such distractions or they don't, although their failure of success is often evident to spectators. Inasmuch as players fail to access their best game, for the most part the distracted player accesses his worst. Focus, in this context, refers to a player's potential to concentrate on doing what is necessary to prepare for the game and, after the game commences, what one is supposed to do on the court. Lack of focus in both areas portends what should have been a blowout win to be a close game or even a loss. Pat Riley deems such distractions as peripheral opponents, and they include friends, family, media, and team management who, when not speaking with one voice, divert a team or player from its mission. As per history, such distractions often rob established teams the ultimate prize of an NBA championship. The more break between games, the more chances there are for diversions or distractions to seep in. For instance, the playoffs, with their 2-2-1-1-1 format apart from the finals 2-3-2 format, coupled with long stretches of downtime between games to incorporate television, keep both teams in the same place for enduring long stretches, meaning the players have additional time to be interviewed, to read negative tweets and stories about themselves, and time to engage in other activities to relieve their stress, which is detrimental in the long run. Family, also as an aspect of distraction, regards the family that shows up from out of town since it is playoff time, in some instances, forcing the player to entertain their company instead of taking the adored pregame nap. In worst circumstances, a player might have to deal with family issues that most Americans' families have, in turn, denying oneself space to deal with the added pressure of the playoffs, and indulge in Thanksgiving from hell over and over and over, consequentially, taking a toll on a player. The 2012 Olympics avails a great example of how outside distraction can seriously degrade performance, as Gabby Douglas, a women's gymnast, commenced by amassing 2 gold medals individual all-round and team all-around, and concluded by finishing 7th in the balance beam and 8th in the uneven bars. The huge drop from 2 gold medals to 7th and 8th place derived from an interview Gabby was queried concerning some family problems. Seemingly agitated over hashing through some of those issues, her performance level instantly plunged. In spite of how great a player is throughout the regular season, he is habitually judged by his playoff success and statistics, which sometimes is not a big deal, sometimes it is. Carmelo Anthony and the 2013 New York Knicks avail another good example, considering they had not won a postseason series since May 2000. The then Knicks head coach, Mike Woodson, had a remarkable 68% regular season winning percentage as they finished 72-34, while sporting just 35% career playoff winning percentage of 12-22. Carmelo Anthony, who received a first-place MVP vote that season, had featured in the playoffs 10 times and been knocked out in the first round 9 times, which added up as the worst NBA playoff record. Such a record does not feature as one that you'd wish a player to dwell on, as it is a sure way of messing up his focus. However, contemporary NBA is media-intensive as they need angles for novel stories, and NBA rules demand players to be present daily for media sessions. Does it make sense that Melo would be asked regarding any of this? And does it make sense that some of this might be on his mind? Did Melo's bad playoff history affect his game in the 2013 playoffs? In the initial 3 games of the 2013 series against Celtics, Carmelo shot 46% from the floor, and 50% from beyond the arc, and 96% from the free throw line, which abound as some fine shooting percentages. However, in games 4 through 6, and successive games where the Knicks comprised the potential to close out the best-of-7 series, Melo shot like a player aware of his initial playoff shortcomings, and he discerned that he wasn't supposed to make it out of the first round once again. He managed 31% from the floor and a paltry 6% from beyond the arc, and while he shot 85% from the free throw line, 3 of his 4 misses were during the end of 4, which entailed an OT loss to the Celtics. If Melo managed to hit one of the 3 free throws or any of shots during that time, Smith managed 44% from the floor in games 1 through 3, although, after being suspended for Game 4, dipped to 30% in Game 5 and 6, which raises the question whether the subject also relied on his initial experiences that he should not progress beyond the first round. No team has ever affirmation or belief is another playoff stat that impacts players' postseason performance, such as the premise that no NBA team has ever come back from a 0-3 deficit to triumph in a playoff series, an issue explored, ad nauseum, in regard to the 2013 Knicks-Celtics and Rockets-Thunder series. In an effort to counteract the threatening weight that all the aforementioned history comprises, the media reiterated on multiple occasions to the 2004 Boston Red Sox triumph over the New York Yankees, where the latter came back from 0-3 deficit and won the successive 4 matchups. The Rockets featured in the conversations because they were down 3-0 against Thunder, and Houston general manager Daryl Morey had initially labored for the Celtics. Re-examining the Red Sox comeback was a good move, considering ascertaining that something extremely challenging is possible avails hope to a team. Although in as much as the Red Sox comeback was inspirational, it was not sufficient to motivate the Celtics or the Rockets to a Game 6 win. History is not always right, but it usually is. Many times, in-game distractions derive from just a few sources, including trash talk, referees' calls, and fans. Besides, franchises' marketing issues such as the Knicks' infrequent attempt to get an orange out via encouraging fans to wear orange shirts, which makes it difficult for outside shooters to differentiate the background from the basket, also features as another source of in-game distractions, although most players often deal with the issue successfully, with circumstances from the heat of competition itself. Trash talk is engendered by many players, although only a few have mastered its art, as it is only successful if the trasher pushes the buttons of the trashee. Some players thrive on trash talk, such as Reggie Miller always seemed to shoot the lights out every time the Knicks fans booed him. Inasmuch as many players endeavor to ignore trash talk, in some instances it hits home, such as the 2013 example of the Honey Nut Cheerios episode between the Celtics' Kevin Garnett and Knicks' Carmelo Anthony, as the latter wasn't thrilled after Garnett apparently said that Melo's wife tasted like the aforementioned breakfast cereal. Boston fans gave it to Melo during all 3 playoff games in Boston, but Melo had transcended such pettiness as he anticipated the fans taunting, and he sustained his focus on the games and away from breakfast, as his 48% shooting bears out. For players with a knack of yelling at the refs frequently, and for those who just scarcely restrain themselves during the regular season, the playoffs avail a whole novel reason to get a technical. The presence of playoff rules, which doubles up as a hypothetical impression that the playoffs are anticipated to be more physical and that the refs are going to permit many violations. Essentially, a player who gripes regarding not going to the free throw line because he got bumped during the regular season is very upset when the crossbody block he gets hit with goes undetected by the refs in the playoffs. In a world where an average worker hates close supervision or monitoring, NBA players do a remarkable job of performing at optimized levels under less than optimum conditions, despite the fact that they've been acclimated, through many years on public display, to perform well under settings that might shield many of us from performing at all. They're still human beings and can lose focus under the right circumstances. Alleviating as many possible sources of distraction as possible offers teams and players the best opportunity of successfully replicating the game plan, winning the game, and winning enough of them to take the series and progress to the next round. Who will be successful at staying focused and who will not be apparent throughout the playoffs?